This is the action tonight, a fog migrating down from the fjord.
In the beginning of August, we flew from Akureyri, Iceland, in the de Havilland Otter up into northeast Greenland on the coast, in what is well known as King Oscar Fjord. We had a fabulous experience seeing some incredible geology and nature. This is Geferris, your narrator.
It's an interesting area with sedimentary rocks.
We are starting out in Franz Joseph Land, and the topography was all sedimentary at this point.
We are here at our new campsite this afternoon, and we are near Salmon Brook. Our kayaks are going together. It's an interesting area because it is sedimentary rock that is very common.
This is Jameson Land, and we are walking up to look at some lakes that the salmon or sea trout migrate to every year. In Greenland, there really are not that many areas where Andromeda's fish migrate. The geology in this area is most extraordinary, with all sorts of multicolored sediments and exotic minerals. Hard to believe. You can tell by the terrain that some of this has not been glaciated. There are all kinds of minerals in this area aside from iron. There's tin and there's zinc. This conglomerate may be smithsonite, or it may have some fluoride in it. The next image is some fluoride I found. That's what's most exciting to get to see. It was great fun getting to take this photograph of fluoride. It took me a long time to figure out that this was indeed fluoride. And there's carboniferous deposits. Also in this area was a large population of muskox.
Sediments that have been reworked here and there. A lot of lime in this area.
There's a mafic dike that has been injected.
The Cretaceous era with lots of quartz worked into ferromagnesium sediments.
There are gneisses here. Yesterday we saw about 4 or 5 muskox.
Very interesting, brilliant black rock.
A chunk of aragonite. It has a feldspathic appearance to it.
Hard as nails. It's a special section of a dike from the Cretaceous period. It's a very small area of rock. Very small area of rock. The dike is right next to me here.
It sure is windy here for the moment. Here is a smorgasbord of varnished rocks from this area because it's very arid, lichens and plants that only survive in this very dry portion of Franz Joseph Land. As you can see, these plants have very hairy leaves, very small. They grow down inside rocks, well protected from the scathing effects of the wind, which just dries everything out. Now we have paddled down to Muskox Point, but it's too rainy and too windy to continue. It's also dismal fog.
The morning today has decided to break for a little short time, and it snowed on those mountains to the east. So here we are again. We're 73 degrees north on the east side of Greenland, experiencing some rain and wind.
off, and I am redoing this voice track for you because the other one is unlistenable. So we're experiencing the tail end of a storm that is gradually blowing away to the outside, and you can see in this area as I'm showing you these panoramas that everything is enclosed in fog just a few miles away, but you still can see in these panoramas these extensive Devonian settlements that this area is noted for in Kaiser Franz Joseph Fjord area of King Oscar's Fjord. So we decided not to get on the water and let everything calm down.
This is archaeological remains of a home here
On Cape Weber and Driesland.
And beside it are lots of bones on the ground from refuse. Among the stones are some examples of ferns growing in sheltered conditions. Ferns inside of the rocks are growing really well. On the top here, those bits of brown are ferns that have died. I'm scanning the inner walls here, showing you what's among the stones. The walls are about 1/2 meter high at this time. So this is the view from the house. It snowed last night. It's in the high 30s this morning. It's August 12th.
1993.
These were our evening conditions.
The Kleppers.
August 13th. After a storm of 2 days. And then the wind is now coming around from the fair weather direction, which is north. This is a little cabin.
This is one of the many expedition cabins that were built in this area in 1930-31.
Norwegian outpost. It's fascinating to see the clouds and how they are layered. There was some snow last night that covered these mountains halfway.
We're looking over at Ymer Island and Geograph Fjord.
The mountains are at least 1,000 feet high. Conditions have improved since yesterday. And it's a wonderful place for wildlife. The family of eider. 2 mothers with about 6 ducklings.
We're on the west side facing east on Andes Land.
There are quite a few waterfalls everywhere.
Along Eleanor Bay is now a carboniferous area.
But what is very interesting is over here. This is a glacier up in this valley, which we can just see now through the clouds. It's incredible to think of how much ice is sitting up there. What is particularly interesting in this area are these very high contrast rocks, which are metamorphosed sediments. So you have an injection of silica minerals into some form of sedimentary rock. Probably it's metamorphosed to a gneiss. Here's another interesting example of metamorphism. Here is a sandstone, multi-layered, almost turned into a shale. Here's another very pretty example of a red sandstone. Here's a very unusual
Conglomerate.
stone. Once again, the clouds have opened up, and now we have a spectacular view of the glacier. It's amazing to think how much snow is bound up in that piece of ice. This is a long-tailed Jaeger that is resting on the beach.
I've slowed this down to quarter speed just to show you how this bird flies. It's an exquisite hunting bird.
We're watching a group of narwhal. They're coming up the fjord, 73 degrees north. Every once in a while they'll swim with their tusk out.
I'm including these maps so that you can see our progress. We are on the tip of Ymer Island, which happens to also be called Narwhal Point. And while we were there, some narwhal happened to come by.
We're very lucky.
Yeah. Well, we've really seen a walrus. Yeah, red-breasted loon.
It's so nice to see a pair of them, of red-breasted loons.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
We're on Ymer Island, and I am showing you the sedimentary geology. It's both Precambrian and Devonian. Looking at these sediments is very dramatic.
We have our geological scenery. And we just watched a whale. So you can see what we have for topography here.
The sediments on this island and neighboring islands have been studied extensively for many, many years. This is Geferris, your narrator. I came here not just to paddle a kayak, but to see this incredible geology that was really hard to believe.